All right, you guys, give me just a second. So I just washed my car and I vacuumed it, opened all the windows, and sprayed some really cool ethically sourced white sage in a bottle. I got it from a really cool shaman out of Arizona, and I just absolutely love that. Somebody the other day, I mentioned doing some stuff with white sage, and somebody said, oh, white sage, that's cultural appropriation. And I literally responded with, it's cultural appropriation if you try to take something away from a culture and you don't give them anything in return. Like, I believe in reciprocity and like reciprocation. And what I can tell you is there are Native Americans all across the United States that are amazing, and they have this ethically sourced white sage that is fantastic, and you can buy bundles of it. And in exchange for them trying to basically help you, they get to earn a living. And I think that it is so important. I think that's so important to understand the value of both. You also can't gatekeep when there are people of those cultures that are shamans that don't want to be gatekept. They want to be able to make a living. And, you know, the really cool thing is my dad actually has, my dad is 50% Creek Indian, which is really cool. My dad's mom was Paula. Her parents were Creek Indian, which is something really neat that we found out. And anyway, it allowed my dad, myself, and my child to all have like Native American. It's a card that you get with your roll number. Kind of neat. But anyway, in that discovery, I started looking into shamanic healing and more like Native American traditions, just because it was part of who we are. Anyway, washed my car, rang the bell. I've got a witch broom that I keep on my dashboard, but as I was had my little feather and my white sage and was just getting all the negative out, I thought, man, what a cool thing that I have learned from American culture. Like, all of us live here in the United States, and there's so much culture, there's just so much coolness. And I hope that you guys take time to step away from all the noise of like modern society and like just enjoy being Americans. Or if you're not from America, let me tell you, some of the coolest stuff that I've learned lately is from the UK. There is so much tradition over there surrounding like fairies and deities and witches, and there's just so much cool stuff. Like, I hope all of you make time this spring and summer to like broaden your horizon of what you think is possible in the realm of the world. I'm sure that sounds crazy, but trust me when I tell you, you'll appreciate it. You guys, we're 1,900 stars into this star party. You guys have been killing it. We need about 1,000 more stars. So if you happen to have a star pack, please send it. My message today is going to be kind of short and sweet. Thank you, Nina, so much for sending stars. Bessie, Beth, thank you. Julie, thank you. Belinda, so many of you guys. Leslie, Tammy, Kelly, Wendy, Kathleen, thank you so much. I just greatly appreciate. Carol, thank you. Janice, thank you, ladies. Star Party achieved, thank you. I appreciate those of you who take a little bit of your hard-earned money and pay towards my content creation. So today it's been almost 95 degrees here. It's been burning hot. So this morning everybody got up, fed. They've been doing things, cleaning stalls, but it's just too hot to ride. The horses aren't quite acclimated enough at this point to be able to really withstand the heat and being ridden, especially when a lot of the horses we get are from other parts of the United States. So we'll probably commence back to riding around 6 to 6:30 this evening. And I have a little bit of a staff change coming. It's not a staff change. It's just an addition is what I should say. My intern will be here for 3 months. Very, very excited about that. She should be here Monday evening. We also hired an additional person. So Tori in the summer gets out of high school and leaves for Colorado. Not that you guys got to meet her very much. She was not on camera. So it's time for her to go north, and my intern will come in and kind of replace that place. But I have a girl named Cheyenne, and I really hope that you guys will take time to pray for her right now. She has cystic fibrosis, and anyway, she recently had to have a multitude of surgeries and has a feeding tube, and she's just been in the hospital for going on, I think, like 2 weeks now. It's just been really rough, and so we miss Cheyenne, and we're hoping that she'll get to come back soon. I don't want to give a lot of details to her name or her life just because she didn't sign up to be a part of social media, but I just really hope you guys will know that somebody that means a lot to us, that is just fantastic, is just really, really struggling right now. I mean, seriously struggling. And living with CF is already its own thing, and I just really hope that her body will just power up, and you know, she can get to where she can come back and clean the office and be around the horses, because she loves that. So my prayers and thoughts are with her, and I hope you guys will take time to send her some love and light, and just really kind of wrap some of your positive vibration around her. With that being said, I am in a very weird place, and I've been here since I got COVID, and I have really fought it and been very headstrong and had a lot of mental blocks about how I feel in my life, and I just really have recently laid a lot of society's expectations down, and just frankly don't give a shit, a flying fuck, to be quite honest, if anybody likes the direction I'm headed or not. But I will tell you guys, I had a Reiki attunement several years ago, and you know, I went to the Institute of Life Coaching and went through all of that, and then really decided I didn't like people, and certainly didn't want to help them fix their problems, because most people's problems are self-made, mine included. And everybody wants you to tell them how it's the people around them. Everyone wants you to say, oh, you're right, your mom is such a bitch. Oh, you're right, your sister is so fucking toxic. And I'm not saying that your mom's not a bitch and your sister's not toxic. I'm not saying those things. What I'm saying is that you're not responsible for their actions, and that's what people want. People want for you to just basically say, like, oh, you were totally justified in your actions. And I am that person. It's probably why I struggled, because people online have said such atrocious things about me that are so untrue, that are just so untrue. And to be quite frank, I just want for people to be like, oh, Tara, it's so unfair. You know what? It's really not. Those people don't have a fucking thing to do. And that's just, you know, it's virtue signaling that they're better than I am. And can't you see? So by putting me down, they feel better about themselves. And learning about why people do things has been really good for me, because it stopped me from internalizing it. I can just basically say, like, oh, those people have their own issues. Me too. Let's move on. But I had a Reiki attunement about the same time that I went to the Institute for Life Coaching, and I never had really practiced it on humans. I've really done a lot of clearing on horses. It's something I'm very quiet about, because I don't want people to think I'm weird. I'm fucking weird as fuck. What are we kidding? I think at this point, you all know that I am weird. You all know I'm weird. I know I'm weird. You know I'm weird. It's why you're here. It's why you like me. We're just weird together. Let's be honest. So I have decided to get my hands reattuned and to fire up the power. And so I've been just diving back down that, and I actually have been having these really great meditations and manifestations and dreams of something much bigger than what I do for the horses now. And what's kind of cool is it involves humans for the first time. I've always just, I'm telling you, you guys, and so many of you can attest to this, you come to my house to pick up your horse, and I like run and hide in the barn. Like, I peek around and watch you load your horse and cheer for your horse, because I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful and so excited and just so genuinely happy for you guys. So I watch your horse get loaded, and my heart is happy. And I think there are times in life where I have surrounded myself by professional horsemen since the time that I was a child. And for me, horses have always been a means of monetary gain. My father is the first person that ever said it, and I remember originally not quite understanding what he meant. But my father said when I was younger, like, if we're going to make a living off of horses, the least that we can do is, like, respect them. So, like, and I remember this lecture came when he had an employee that, like, didn't want to clean the water buckets and, you know, just was kind of being a shit employee. We've all had them, me included. Just shit fucking people that love animals and claim to just be a self-proclaimed, like, horse enthusiast. But then when it really comes down to the nut cutting and you have to really genuinely love them and take care of them, a lot of people want to cut corners. And my dad just always has just, and he will die on that mountain of, if you're going to make a living off of livestock or horses, the least you can do is just have some respect for them. Not saying that you have to be a tree hugger, but, like, clean the fucking water bucket, you know? Like, make sure that they're a foraging animal, make sure they have hay around the clock type situation. So I am a big person that I, over time, have dived down little bits of, like, natural horsemanship, and I agree with some of it and don't agree with other parts of it. And my biggest thing is, like, you know what? I really like Clinton Anderson. I think that Clinton has a great set of tools that, if they are used properly, can really help somebody with a problematic horse. So I don't agree with everything, but it was always hard for me because I can see that Clinton genuinely just did it for a living. It was a living type thing. And I think that I can understand how come a lot of rescue advocates don't like me. They don't like the aspect of my business is for profit. It's very hard for them to understand that I can have such a heart for horses and then also have just cut and dry, like, I have to make a fucking living or I can't keep hay in the pens, you know? So, like, the horse has to bring profit. It doesn't get to leave here free or cheap, because if it doesn't make profit, then I can't provide hay for the rest, or, you know, or salary. And they'll say things that are just atrocious, like, you should get a real job. This is a real job. We work our fucking asses off, okay? We work our asses off. And to be quite frank, like, I recently lost a lot of respect, just a ton of respect, for a rescue or two that I had previously kind of held at a decent regard, because I thought, you know what, these people are rescues and, like, they really are for the horses, until I realized that they had contacted Jacob. I stumbled upon some text where they were trying to sell a horse or two they couldn't rehome to him, and then asking about, like, what, like, they obviously didn't feel comfortable asking me because they knew that I would say, like, you're a rescue. But Jacob, you know, he's a man, and he's a little gruffer than I am, and I thought, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, huh. So there went that out the window. So I just have gotten to where I have decided I can't control anyone else. I can only control myself, okay? Like, I can't control anyone else, how they treat me, how they feel, what they say. I can only control my own actions. And I have been meditating on a regular basis, and I'm talking about really getting into some deep meditations about just flat frank being, if I'm going to make a living off the horses, the least I can do is respect them. But I feel in my soul that there's something so much bigger to this than that. There is something so much bigger, like, just welling up inside of me. And Tylen has been the absolute perfect example of what this thing is. So Tylen is fantastic. He's young, he's bright, he's a great horseman, but we all come with some baggage, right? And I've learned something, that on my metaphysical journey, I have learned a lot about just healing myself. And people will be like, oh, I had somebody tell me the other day, like, oh, but Tara, you have this great life. You know, you have a wonderful husband, and you have a daughter, and you have all the stress in the fucking world every day, and people that talk terrible about me and spread untruths about me. And it took me a long time to be able to just say that out loud, and not, like, I used to, first I never wanted to speak about it at all because I didn't want anyone to know that it was a thing. Hey, I'm live.
Nobody.
Yeah, no worries. I'll call you right back.
All right, well.
Bye. Speaking of the devil himself, sounded like he was in the bathroom with that echo. I want to be like, are you in the bathroom? It's echoing. Like, I'm that inappropriate person. Anyway, so I went through phases, these evolutions, okay, to where first it was like, I don't want anybody to know that I have haters. Like, then it went through, I had to joke about it to keep from crying. And just wanted to show everybody everything about my property so that you could see every pin and every horse and because then you could say for yourself, I saw that, there's not true. And then now I'm at this weird evolution that I just don't give a fuck what any of them think or what anyone thinks, because I'm the one that gets up 7 days a week and works my fucking ass off. So it's been this really weird evolution of learning to cope until you're just over it. Like, I mean, oh, this horse was at Tara's and now it's at Bastrop. Well, that's not the truth. But even if it was, it's my horse. Who gives a shit? Oh, she took a horse back to auction. Yeah, and I have 5 more going to Billings this month. Wonderful horses, and I can't wait to see the homes that buy them. Yep. And? Oh, Jacob ships horses to slaughter. He sure fucking does. And you know what's really cool is every time he takes them over there to mix the horses we ship to slaughter on the load with the others, he brings horses back from other kill buyers that don't have public pages. It's fucking amazing. And I love it. And I stand firmly behind what Jacob does. I just wish that slaughter was in the United States so the horses didn't have to travel into Mexico. Because if you've ever had to deal with what we dealt with the other night with that mare with COPD, I can assure you, if somebody would have been local that I could have led her over to and bolted her in the head, I would have done it, because the suffering was disgusting and it hurt my feelings. And I'm the one that had to try to get her at least comfortable enough that we could get her to the position that somebody could kill her. If you're a trauma nurse, or if you're a hospice nurse, I want you to know that my respect for you is immense. And I hope that you will find people around you that love you and support you and hug you and help heal the parts of you. Because I know that you've had to see what I witnessed the other night with that mare, and it's gut-wrenching. It's gut fucking wrenching. And you know what? Everybody wants to talk about suffering. Like, oh, slaughter is suffering. Let's talk about the suffering that happens at the hands of people that are supposed to love the horses. The people that dumped that mare off at the sale barn knowing she had COPD and never bothered to tell a soul. Those people should be ashamed of themselves. Can you imagine taking your grandma with COPD to a public place and handing her off to someone else and never mentioning it, and they take her to the most humid climate and she starts having COPD attacks and she's panicking and her heart rate is elevating and it's awful because she can't breathe and she's just suffering? That's basically what that's like. But see, people don't want to blame the person that dumped her at the sale barn. They want to say things about the kill buyer who bought her, or about me, about how, oh, she suffered. Yeah, well, you know what? We busted our fucking ass and we got her comfortable. But you know what? There were times in my life in the past. So here's the thing. Do you know why I have all of the equipment at my facility to accommodate that? Because it's not the first time it happened. And the first time it happened, I never saw it coming, and it was the middle of the night and I didn't have anything. I didn't have medication. I didn't have a nebulizer. I didn't have anything. I just had to sit there with it. If I had had a gun, I don't know if I would have shot myself or the horse the first time it happened. It was awful. It was just, I mean, we all know what it's like the first time that you come in contact with a situation that alters your soul a little bit. And I'm going to tell you that, was it cruelty? It was unintentional, but life can be cruel. You know, you can watch like the Animal Planet and watch the lions attack a zebra and shred it to pieces right in front of its family and its herd. And that's just life. That's just pecking order. It's just evolution. It's the way that things happen. It doesn't make it any less gut-wrenching for those of us like myself and you who like have emotions and we can grasp a concept of what's going on, and it's just but to those lions, they're just feeding their family. So here's the thing. For me, I have a $1,200 nebulizer and thousands of dollars worth of fluids and lidocaine and all of these medications because I know that that's not the last time that's going to happen. That's the sad reality. is that's not the last time that that's going to happen at my facility. Not because I want it to, but because there's going to be somebody that's going to give a horse 10 cc's of dexamethasone, run it through an auction barn, and drive away hoping they get anything for it. And then my husband is going to buy it. Jacob is going to buy it. And when he buys it, he's never going to know he's never going to know. And then we're not going to know until it has a Heves attack, till the COPD flares up. Elise, the Palomino mare that I had, is absolutely fantastic. She's in Florida. Her name is Barbie. And she has a home, and I know exactly where she is. Yeah. So whatever is at Elkhart, it doesn't have anything to do with anything at my facility. So Barbie went to an auction in Kentucky and was purchased actually by a customer of mine and taken to Florida. And they also have a mare, I believe, that they call, not Zara. Let me see. I can tell you because they post wonderful updates in the group. So let me look. It starts with a Z, and so Renee has her, and here she is right here. This is Barbie in her home in Florida. She, Zeta, Z-E-T-A is the other horse that they have, and I just absolutely love it. And Renee is just amazing. So, most horses that have left my facility, if you ever want to know where they are, those people might not want the public to know, or might not, but I get tons of updates. I probably average about 15 updates a day. But I sold 3,100 horses last year, and we're rounding the corner of about 800 this year. So, that's a lot of horses, and it's such a blessing, and it's been absolutely amazing. So, if you ever want to know where something is, I might be able to find it for you. And I also have people that buy horses from me, and then a previous owner wants to know where they go, and the new home doesn't feel like they deserve that. And I respect that, because at that point, if that person sold it at auction and the next home feels like that person did the horse a disservice, I don't want in the middle of that, and I'm just going to respect the person that currently has it. So anyway, Barbie is at her home in Florida with Renee, and Zeta had a baby. And Zeta's baby is absolutely adorable. And it's really cool because I think they're at a boarding facility, but regardless, just one of those situations to where the horses couldn't have ended up with a more fabulous individual. The home is fantastic. And the little mare just had her baby, and I was going to show you guys pictures of it, because she posted them. And it was just, and you know what? We would have never believed in a million years that Zeta was pregnant when she left. She was so emaciated and so skinny. Anyway, they got her home, rode her. She was fantastic. And I cannot remember when she posted an update. But she did. Oh, and she had her baby. So I'll just have to go back and look. But anyway, so, Janelle, no, let me explain something. When I sit down in my vehicle to have a conversation with my tribe, it is very disrespectful. And I know you don't mean this, because you were like, you do an awesome job, don't defend yourself. Listen. No. We don't do that here. If I sit down in my car to have a conversation with you guys and to really discuss with you like where I am in my journey and kind of where I am spiritually, things like that, that for me is very rewarding and healing, and it allows me to spend time with the people that I love in this world the most, which is my tribe. And it feels a little disrespectful, and it feels a lot disheartening to have people be like, don't do this. Don't defend yourself. I'm not defending myself. What I'm doing is having a conversation, and I feel like it's also disheartening to have to explain that. Like, it's okay for me to sit down and say like, hey, so the other night, like, this was a gut-wrenching situation for me, and if you think about it, I have to have all of this equipment because it's not the last time it's going to happen. And it's just disheartening that horses like that don't get to just go to slaughter. Like, if slaughter was back in the United States, I would be more pro-slaughter. My apiary, people tell me all the time to lobby for slaughter, and it's hard because I don't think that going from here to the border and having to stand at the border and then be reloaded, I think all of those situations suck. But there's some horses that when we send them down the road, I understand that it's the best thing we can do, because if I keep trying to rehome them, it's just going to keep being a cycle of misery for them, because they're just a horse that's going to kick or bite or flip over or rear up or hurt somebody, and they just end up being cheap and free and passed around until what? They end up starving in someone's backyard. Like that's not a life. That's not okay. Triton is still at the house. We've got the round pin coming. Basically, long story short, it's great that we have the ability. Somebody sent one of those defense shields, and we're going to tape the whole eye so we can black out that side of Triton's face and see if we stop letting the light in that eye. If he can be less spooky, he won't think there's something in that eye all the time. If that seems to work, we'll fundraise and have the eye removed and see if we can't change his life. But right now, he's still turned out with the donkeys because he got so dangerous in the barn. He almost hurt me, and he almost hurt Tylen, and I just couldn't continue to put Tylen or myself. That horse loves me, and in the stall will come to me. I can catch him, and he wants to bond, and then he just has complete freak out episodes. And when he freaks out, he is so dangerous. He is so dangerous. It is so disheartening. It's just, I hate it for him, and I don't want him to live in fear. I've seen him spook in the pasture. That's why I think it's the eye, because I've seen him bolt in the pasture and run over a donkey. I've seen him bolt in the pasture and hit the side of the shed trying to get away from whatever he thinks is after him. And I think it's that the eye is scarred and light gets in, and then and he just thinks it's in his face. It sucks, that sucks. That's a hard life. So maybe the eye needs to be removed, but we're going to put the little patch and, blind him and get all of the light out so that he can't see from that side, and see if he comes around. And if he does, then we'll have the eye removed. Slaughter in the U.S. would be much more humane and regulated. Absolutely. So, but back to what I was saying. So obviously at my facility, I have a lot of equipment because I start to just see suffering, and I start to want to try to find ways to eliminate the pain and the suffering the moment they arrive at my facility. So it's kind of cool that we have a facility that's like a complete rehabilitation facility, but it's also a kill pen, and that sucks. And it's just the sucky part of it. The only thing is there's a silver lining. When Jacob takes horses to ship, he shops. So the last couple of times that Jacob took horses, he took horses to ship and ended up just swapping weight, meaning, hey, I've got these, they're not viable, don't try to rehome them. What do you have that might be viable? And it came back. Murphy is one of those. The white Lusitano is one of those. I think he might actually be an Azteca. I've got a horse in the barn right now that came back from over there that is just phenomenal. So anyway, it's neat to see that even when we find horses that are not viable, that we can't save, and we have to haul them over, and they're going to go to slaughter, that Jacob is able to bring some horses back from there that belong to other traders or whatever. The mare and foal found a home. There is a fundraiser for them. Somebody paid a deposit, and they are going to fundraise. They're going to a rescue that's going to do some rehabilitation for humans, like foster care, things like that. So really a neat thing. They were going to post their fundraiser in the comments below the videos of the mare and foal. So if you have $5 that you might want to donate, $50, please consider it, because it's a great situation for the mare and foal. They are going to a wonderful rescue that purchased a horse from me last year, Jacob does have a good heart. Jacob is actually really decent for being. But what I will tell you is something that has helped me is I haven't been competing, and I've stayed completely away from competitive horse people for a year now. It's been a year since I've been around competitive horse people. And I've just really been in my own head to my own accord and shut a lot of the outside noise off. And I have found horses to be so healing and for them to just be so therapeutic. And so I have been like meditating and really just growing, like just as a person. And I really want to start offering more. I want to help more. And it's just weird. Some of us are just called, I think, to try to make a difference. So for years it's been, but Jacob, if you think that tomorrow, if something financially happened and it came down to it, Jacob would ship every horse on that property to slaughter to fix whatever the situation was. So Jacob is very business minded, but what I have found is being financially comfortable has allowed Jacob the ability to be softer, because he's not in the situation constantly, that money situation. And it has allowed him the freedom to be a much kinder person. So please understand that maybe money is the root to all evil. I don't know. I don't care. I just know that being financially more stable has allowed Jacob to have a much kinder demeanor, because he's not having to make those decisions all the time of, hey, these horses have to go right now to slaughter. Like, those decisions, you know, it's, hey, we can give them another week, you know, especially so many of you guys, when I ask for reprieves, donate reprieves, and that money pays for the hay, and that takes a lot of stress off of me. It takes stress off of him not breathing down my throat going, I'm not putting another dollar into hay. Like, these horses need to, you know, get off of the bill, you know. So there's a lot to this, and I just am very grateful. You know, I was meditating the other day, and there's a whole tribe and circle of people. And you know what? Tylen makes a living. Jackie, who's coming, makes a good living. My intern is coming. Everybody that's out at the facility really are paid a good wage. And it's really because of the Wild Tribe After Hours. And I want you guys to know how grateful. If you guys watch everything that we do, I just want to encourage you to join that group, because that $240 a year, it's paid out $20 a month. So you pay $20 a month to be in there. It's really great in the sense that that money has allowed a lot of freedom to not be so stressed out. I hope so. I hope that I share my knowledge. I hope that I share my life. I hope that you see the evolution of just the progression of me learning how to deal with having haters, and the progression of me learning how to go from nobody to somebody that when I go to sell barns, I have people that come up to me. I mean, we went to Billings in September, and I had people that came up to me, hugged me, wanted my autograph, wanted to take photos with me. It was amazing. It was also very weird for me, because I am very socially awkward, and I'm just telling you, like, I will never get used to people knowing my name. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's still just... But what I do want to start to offer is, I think that I'm going to, not yet, but I'm going to start practicing, because all spiritual practices take practice, all healing takes practice. But my Reiki attunement that I had in the past was great. I have been I have sharpened to a master level that craft, and I'm gonna do it for the horses. So I do want to start doing my own clinics, but I'm gonna start with all of the horses that are at my facility. I'm gonna start really focusing on clearing their energy and releasing the trauma and helping them heal. And I commissioned a girl to do a series of paintings for me called The Art of the Trade. The Art of the Trade, and it starts with the gamble, the evaluation. There's one that's like a turquoise painting that I haven't named, and then the healer. And it's the healer is not me. It is you guys. It is when that horse leaves my facility and somebody out there in this world was willing to put their money up and really just have this horse come to their home and become their heart horse. There's so much healing in that, not only for the animal, but for the human. And I think it's amazing. So what we are going to do, you guys, is we are going to, I'm going to really work on my practice. I'm going to work on really keeping my hands sharp. But another thing, I really hope that Tylen and I can come to a agreement on a schedule and try to figure out some ways to start incorporating some training and bonding videos. I have, for the last year, just dove down the natural horsemanship. And it's something that was really not available to me as a racehorse trainer. It was something that, it was available to me, but I didn't know it was available. And, there's a lot of amazing things there. So I think that it's important not only for the horses to benefit, but for the humans to benefit. And it's going to be so cool because here's what I want to eventually, one day, head towards. I would like for people to be able to come pick their horse up in person and stay for the weekend. And you know what? Build that relationship before you load your horse. Have a little bit of bonding time and really get that emotional connection. So when you leave my facility, people just have a much better bond and connection with that horse and understand their needs. So even if you leave my facility and that horse isn't your forever horse, you're going to have the tools to be able to lead that horse to its forever home. I think that a lot of you guys, sometimes are just the next chapter, you know, and I think that that's a great thing. And sometimes horses leave me for humans and it's not their forever situation, but come to find out it was their neighbor who would have never had the internet and never found me, you know, ended up with a horse from me that I got from Billings, and they live in Florida. So you have to understand that I see this sometimes as a much bigger picture. These horses are brought in nationwide to my facility and then broadcasted to the public, just absolutely nationwide, to where so many of you get to see them, and it allows horses maybe from a part of the country or a cell that you would have never attended to be able to find their human, because that was the destiny for that animal. And you might be in New York and your horse came from California, and it would have never happened had that horse not ended up at that auction and ended up being bought by Jacob and being at my facility. And again, maybe you're going to get the horse and it might not be like, so Peyton came from Wyoming. Actually, he went from South Dakota to Billings, Montana, from Billings to Texas. He was purchased by a customer of mine that lives nowhere near us. She ended up having a health scare and unfortunately is going through some things. And I rehomed Peyton to another customer because at that point he had had the training and the things needed by that home. That home couldn't buy Peyton in October because they didn't know enough about him. But by the time we had him and he had been ridden by Dylan and we trail rode him and then Tylen rode him, they felt comfortable with him going. And now Peyton is going to New York to a family and he has a forever home. It is a forever situation for him, and it's unbelievable. And anyway, it's just, those things happen for a reason, absolutely for a reason. And sometimes these are just chapters, and sometimes I think that there's some healing that needs to happen in the middle of there. So anyway, I've been sharpening my Reiki skills. I'm going to do a lot to help the horses. We get some horses, Karen, that come that way because a lot of people from Minnesota go to Kelowna, Iowa. A lot of traders from that area take horses to Billings. A lot of traders trade at Billings from your area. So yes, we do get some. So it's kind of a neat thing, but I will tell you, anyway, I'm just in a really different place and I have been staying offline. So please understand when you don't see me on the internet as much and you don't really see me responding to comments, it's for good reason. I just have a lot going on that I'm focusing on inward, and it's so important, and I just don't need the outside noise. I don't need to be reminded that humans suck. I get that reminder every day as I'm trying to clean up other people's messes at my facility. But it's been so peaceful and it's been so nice, and it's given me a lot of time to reflect. And I just would really like to maybe have some clinics to where we hold space, where we try to heal a little of our own trauma, heal a lot of the horses' trauma, find a good bond and connection, and give everybody that sacred space and connection that I desperately crave connection at this point in my life. And it's a really weird place for me because I spent the majority of my 30s to this point, most of my 20s and 30s wanting away from people, and I didn't want connection. In fact, I wanted you to stay the fuck away from me because humans suck and humans are hurtful. And I think that I come in contact with a lot of horses that feel that way. And in a way, they've healed me and reminded me that there's a lot of good in this world. And I'm at a place in my life right now that I'm really craving connection. I'm just craving connection in a different way, and it's fantastic. I would like to build connection between horses and humans, and meet you guys in person, and potentially let's try to do some getaways. I would love to host 2 equestrian-based getaways a year just for us horsey women that just need a moment to breathe and meditate, and I think that would just be absolutely incredible. Maybe have 4 a year, 2 that involve horses and 2 that we can get away. But I absolutely just, for some reason, am headed in a different direction. My meditative space lately has just been geared towards building connections. But please don't forget to join the Wild Tribe After Hours. I think a lot of these videos from here forward will probably be in the Wild Tribe After Hours. I just don't need every Tom, Dick, and dumbass, frankly, to give me their opinion. But for those of you who support us and have spent a lot of time loving me and spent your hard-earned money loving me and loving my facility and loving my staff, I really want for you guys to know that, we have some content coming for you guys. And I really think that it would be amazing to have some equestrian retreats, for sure. I mean, that's the best way to put it. And I would love to invite you guys to my facility. I actually wish, I don't know, I've gone back and forth about it and maybe need to find an investor. But I would love to take the back 14 acres that's currently just a pasture, and I would love to have a road that goes back there and maybe set up a bunch of little, like cabins with maybe 2 stalls behind each one, and allow people to come, and you could rent, especially some of you guys that are retired in the fall and spring, and come and, rent a little cabin with stalls, come for a week, come for a month. Oh my gosh. And why I'm craving connection, I don't know. I have never craved connection in my life. I have always just been a firm believer that humans are hurtful, humans are manipulative, humans use you until they no longer need you. And I just want something different. Like, I really want to build a community that comes in person. And I would love to be able to have you guys come when you purchase a horse and actually stay for 2 days, for a week. And just to be really, but I'm just there. I'm at that place in my life. I'm just at a really different place in my life. And I love it. And I hope that you guys will love me through this phase, because it's foreign for me. This is a very foreign place for me. And I hope that you guys will love me through this, because it's new. I've never craved connections with humans. I've never wanted to teach humans. I've never wanted humans to come and stay and be a part of my life. In fact, like I said, normally people come to pick their horse up and I hide in the barn and peek out and I celebrate for your horse, because I love that. And I think that what sparked this is a customer of mine bought a horse named Rio last year. She lives here in Texas. and she bought a blanket and she went to load him, and I noticed the blanket that she was putting on him had a little snag in it, and I had some new ones, and yes, that blanket was one that he had been wearing. Yes, he snagged it, but I use them every day, and it was an expensive investment for her, so I told her, hey, bring him in here, let's swap your blanket out and get you a brand new one. And she said, no, it's fine, he's the one that ripped it. And I said, yeah, but I can send it back. Benefab has wonderful Benefab has wonderful like returns. They'll fix it for me, no problem. So anyway, she said okay, and she walked in the barn, and at the moment that I walked the horse up to her, he literally melted into this girl like he had known her his entire life. And she started crying, and I mean, he just chose her. And it was in that moment that I thought, I want more of this. Like, this is why I do this. That one horse got me through probably 5 really shit fucking customers. Every time I have a customer that I'm like, oh my God, why are you like this? I literally just take 2 seconds and reflect back on that moment that Rio melted into her, and just absolutely. And I love her, and she texts me, and for the life of me, that's just so you know, don't ever be offended if I don't remember your name, but I will remember your horse. I remember horses from 7 years ago, like it was yesterday. I'm the one that unloaded them off those trailers. I'm the one that made them a promise. I'm the one that fought for them. I'm the one that tried to find them their home. So you may love them now, but please remember I loved them first, and it's nothing personal. And please don't think that I don't love and respect and think you're an amazing human for giving these horses such a brilliant future. Just please remember that for me, it's very much emotional. It's like this weird, they come to me, and it's my responsibility to change the course of their life. And it, for a long time, that was overwhelming for me, and it's becoming easier, and I'm finding fun in it again. But please remember that if you have a horse from me, I deserve an update, because I'm the one that unloaded that horse and promised it that I would get it away from slaughter to a better situation. And I find myself not needing that like I did in Pitkin. In Pitkin, it was desperate. I needed to get them away from there, because no matter what, it was, Pitkin was not a horse facility, and the only place from there was slaughter. And it was bad for me, and it was bad to not be able to control the environment and everything else. And so what I'm saying is it was really a lot for me. And please text me, message my page, send me the updates. If you have a horse that came from me 9 years ago, I want the update. I promised that horse in that moment that I would change its life. And you promised that horse the moment that you put your money down and you picked it up that you were also going to be responsible for it. And I respect what you did immensely. But please understand that I gave up everything. I gave up my occupation. I gave up my, my goals, my dreams, everything I thought that I ever wanted for me, just to be able to rehabilitate and rehome horses, to the point that I literally saved up every dollar and did everything I could to buy the facility in Texas so that these horses had a safe place to come. If we still lived in Pitkin, I can tell you that the horses cost half to maintain there what they do here. No, like a quarter. It cost a quarter to maintain them in Pitkin, because all they got was hay. They just got hay. We just put out hay and water, and there was no staff hardly, and it was just nothing. Here, it's very expensive because we start the rehabilitation. I have purchased all of the therapy equipment. I have every medication and drug known to man, because there's nothing that I can't try to fix. And I've been really sharpening my skills all the way around. But I want for you to know that if you have a horse from me, please send me the updates. And you're never going to send too many. If you send them weekly, daily, yearly, I just appreciate them when I get them. So if you bought a horse 9 years ago, I want the update. 7 years ago, I want the update. 7 hours ago, I want the update, because I want to know where they are. They were my friend. They were the reason that I do what I do. They were the reason that I gave up everything I knew. And I want to know that it was worth it. And you know what? Yes, them leaving my facility for you in that moment, it was worth it. But it is so rewarding to see. And you know what? You deserve to get to brag. You deserve to get to show the difference you've made. Sometimes I think people, when a horse leaves me and then people post like an update and the horse has gained a lot of weight and it's flourishing, and people are like, well, Tara, please, I know that you want to defend that, like, yes, the rehabilitation started with me, but there's a lot of things that we can't do quickly. There's a lot of things we cannot do quickly. And it's so nice to see, honestly. Like, it is so nice to see. Sorry, my work husband is fixing to meet me for dinner. It's absolutely amazing to see what you have done. The transformation that you did. I know that every once in a while people feel like it's like a dig, but it's not to me. Like, I can only do so much because the horses are with me for such a short amount of time. You don't understand how much I appreciate getting to see them like in their full glory. You don't understand how much I love to see your children competing on them. Like, that's your baby, but underneath them is my baby. And there's been thousands of them, and I can remember them all. Like, I can tell you, the lady messaged me today and was like, I got a roan filly, and I'm like, I remember her. She's beautiful. True Bay roan, little ears. She was literally 917. She couldn't even remember her tag number, and I can, and I had 3,100 of them last year. So please know that you can hate me all you want. You can talk about me. You can spread the rumors, whatever, but that's not my heart, and that's not my following's heart. I want to surround myself by people that love me, that love the horses, that know that life is not perfect. We're not always going to have perfect outcome. Betsy was not a perfect outcome. Pitkin did kill my soul. It absolutely destroyed parts of me that I was able to rebuild, and I'm so grateful. Because here's the thing, when you don't know suffering, you don't get to appreciate the value of the save. I know what's in store for horses that end up in other kill pens. I know what's in store for horses that Jacob doesn't buy. And I can assure you that when Jacob loads his trailer, my heart bleeds. My heart bleeds sometimes for horses I see loaded on other trailers. But I know that the horses that come to my facility are going to get the best of our ability. And you know what? It's because of you guys. It's because of my tribe. But I just wanted to make this video, and I don't want anybody to think it's that I'm defending what I do, or, oh, Tara, you don't have to, we know. No, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people haven't been here from the beginning. A lot of people didn't see the evolution of, I was a successful racehorse trainer that also ran barrels and has won the 1D. You know, a lot of people can say they barrel race. I've won barrel races. I've trained futurity champions. I've literally been very successful at things and had a very successful career. And I laid it down to be able to do something that was very selfless, because I just could not go to sleep at night knowing that I wasn't trying. And I suffered a lot of hate and persecution for it, and I'm okay with that. That's just very normal human behavior for people to virtue signal and hate you, and all of that's okay, and that's not what this is about. I just want you to know that, once again, my journey went from, hey, I train racehorses, to, by the way, I don't want to do this anymore, and I really don't like my peers. I don't like my peers. I don't respect my peers. I don't find joy or happiness in my peer group as a racehorse trainer. And I think I want to re-home kill pen horses, because I think they deserve better. To, okay, now I live in Pitkin, and this is not okay. I really need to get the horses out of here. Lady, you either have to stop or go, but you have to pick one or the other. Thank you. Pitkin was Pitkin was such a blessing and such a lesson and such a moment of, I learned what a real kill pen was. I learned what it was really like to have to tag and chip horses and sort them and not be able to save them, and just how, I learned about business. I learned about cutting your loss, and I learned about all of the parts of it that are ugly. I learned about all the ugly parts of it, and I decided in that journey that that was not okay with me, and that I wanted a facility that I had control of. I wanted a facility that I got to call the shots. I wanted a facility that I brought the horses to so that I could do it my way, so that the horses could experience love and compassion and respect. Even if you're going to go to slaughter, the least that we can do is respect you and fight for you until the last moment. And at my facility, if a horse goes to slaughter from my facility, it's been with my blessing. And that's, so many of you are going to be like, oh my God, baby, don't say that. Why did you say that? Did you just say that it was with your blessing? Please remember that there are horses that there's just not a lot left for. And that's another topic and another conversation. And I would love to express to you guys how I feel about slaughter, why I think it's necessary, why it needs to come back to the US. That's just not what this video is for. But please know that any horse that's left my facility, it has been because I said, listen, I cannot rehome this. It is not in its best interest to be rehomed. This is not a good situation. This animal is suffering either in its own mind. And you know what? It's hard for people to understand, but there are horses that are suffering, and sometimes I think Triton might be one of those, and it just kills me because I love him. But Triton is, but I think I think if we can sort out the eye, we can sort out the mental blocks, and we can start to heal that horse's trauma and get him in a place that we can actually maybe train him and find him a forever situation. It's just not happening right now, but it will. And look at Donnie. Did any of you guys ever think that Donnie would just be like that horse? I mean, I'm almost to the point to where like I would be comfortable riding him. Two Crows, I'm more than comfortable. I would let Kylan put Tinley on Two Crows at this point and lead her around. Like, he's just matured into the most, but that's what we have to remember, is that horses only know what they know. And that just because a horse is scared or a horse bucked out of fear or things like that, that's not their whole future. And I want to teach people that, and I want to train you guys how to not be afraid, and how to bond with them, and how to get past that, so that you guys can have these really incredible spiritual bonds with your animal that I have with mine. Well, Karen, I hope that more people join the Wild Tribe after hours, because Jacob is on me. I'm telling you, we have Sace and Triton and Sumo and Tsunami. Y'all have not met Sumo and Tsunami yet. I have two, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to name them. And Miss Kathy called the bay horse Precious forever. She just calls him Precious. We call him Precious. We're just going to call him Precious, but his official name is Tsunami, because I just loved that. He's a big draft cross. And then we have a big, remember the Brabant mare? We actually own one of her babies. He's a 4-year-old, and he is by a quarter horse stallion. And I'm trying to buy the little baby. I'm trying to buy the one they just weaned, which is his full sister. Anyway, I named him Sumo. So I have Tsunami and Sumo. And the reason I named him Sumo is because, being 50% Brabant, he's just massively gigantic, and he's Bay Roan, and we have Trucker, and we have so many that just were so misrepresented when they went to the sale, and people thought they were, much broker, and just different things happen. How we got, honestly, what was kind of weird and funny all at the same time is how we got Sumo. Is Sumo's older brother sold with registration papers, and he was Blue Roan he was actually by a different stallion, but out of the Brabant mare. And he sold one horse before Sumo, and he brings $10,200 on the loose, and the crowd went crazy, and they were clapping and cheering, and the sale just continues. I mean, the sale doesn't stop. So the next one that runs through is his younger brother, who's bay roan, not blue roan, and same genetics and basically the same thing, maybe not quite as broke. And people were so mesmerized at the $10,000, they just overlooked the next one that went through, and it was Sumo. And Sumo is every bit as nice as the $10,000 one. I think he's better because I prefer a bay roan to a blue roan. Don't tell Triton I said that. Triton will be mortified because Triton thinks he's the sexiest beast alive. So we ended up with Sumo, and it was really neat. And then at the sale, Jacob ran into a man that told him, hey, last summer you bought a horse from my wife and I that we raised. It was Jasper. And if you guys remember, I love Jasper. Adrian McGee actually purchased him and then gifted him back. And I sold him to a customer of ours. And she actually won the first tax set draw. She won the $1,000 tax set, which was really cool. So Jasper's mom won the head stall, the bit, the reins, the breast collar, everything. And I loved Jasper. He was a Clydesdale cross. Well, we ended up with Jasper's little brother. He's only a 3-year-old. He'll be 4 in August. And I named him Tsunami. And he is just fantastic. And then, of course, you guys know that Jacob ended up with a Frisian Percheron cross by accident for nothing. I mean, he was in the sale, and for some reason, they had him with the ponies instead of the colts. Like, so they sell, like, so when kill buyers go to the loose sales, they normally group them. Like, it's all mares, because recip contract people are buying mares, then it's all the geldings, so that like traders can filter through the geldings, and then they sell like the studs, and then the ponies. At the very first of the sale, they sell like the weanlings and the yearlings and stuff like that. So, you know, weanlings, yearlings, mares, trader geldings, stallions, ponies. For some reason, Aries was pinned with the ponies. So everybody that was looking for young draft crosses had already bought and left, and then people looking for ponies did not want a yearling draft cross, and Jacob absolutely stole him, for lack of better words. It was just, I hate it for the breeder and the seller that they didn't get more money, because the exact same facility had other ones there, and they averaged like $4,000 to $8,000 on the loose babies. And Jacob just absolutely got Aries, who is blue. He's probably gonna gray out, but right now he's just still gray, and I can tell him he's blue and he's beautiful. And anyway, Jacob ended up buying Aries for nothing. I don't even want to tell you guys, because there will be that person that's like, I know what y'all paid for him, and I'm like, it's crazy if you guys only knew what Jacob gave. Nothing. I mean, like, nothing. He gave nothing for him. And so we have Aries, and Tylen's getting him halter broke, and we got him trimmed for the first time. And it's just so cool, because sometimes these horses just end up here, and like, people are like, how did they end up for slaughter? And I'm like, sometimes Jacob buys them, and it's just the most odd thing. Trucker, Tsunami, Sumo, Aries, Sace, those horses honestly are such high-end horses that should have never ended up, and it was just such a weird, like just an ironic coincidence type thing that it happened, and here they are. And I love it. I love it, and I love that we're going to get to develop those horses' skills, and then you guys as my customers are going to get to be a part of that, and then you're going to get like your heart horse for a fraction of what they would cost somewhere else. So anyway, I just love every bit of what I do. Like, I just have found such a deep appreciation for where my life has led me. All of the sacrifice has paid off, and now I just want connection with you guys. So Heather said, don't forget the saddle draw. We actually have one saddle draw all but full. I will make a list. Maybe tomorrow, which is Sunday, in the afternoon, we can have a saddle draw. We probably need about 10 or 15 more. Spending all my money on Zara right now. I love that, though. I love that Zara has a great situation. So we have a saddle draw. We need about 10 or 15 more people. So if you would like to donate $50 to the Unsold Horse Fund, you can, or $100 to the Round Pin Fund. The round pin, I think, is all but finished and ready to be picked up, and I just have to pay the balance. So we'll be giving away another saddle. We already gave away one saddle, and Miss Kathleen won it. She is very much so a real person. She's on this video. She can testify that she has spoke with the saddle maker, and he has absolutely gotten with her and got everything worked out. We also will be having another tack draw once the saddle draw is full for those that might be interested in that. And yeah, so I love you guys. I'm fixing to go in and get us a table at Olive Garden because I'm going to have an early dinner with my work husband, Tylen. I spend more time with him than I do anybody, so jokingly. Tsunami and Sumo, yeah, I love them both. And it's just kind of neat. So Tsunami is the bay in the barn. Miss Kathy called him Precious. And we call him Precious, and I had him worked on because he had a lot of stiffness down one side and just wanted to release that. So we have a lot of unsold horses that are basically on the unsold horse fund right now, and we really kind of need to do a fundraiser. Unfortunately, I just don't want for Jacob to get back in that phase of, hey, you're spending way more than we're making and you need to clear some horses out. Please don't forget Murphy, you guys. Murphy is wonderful. Please like and share Murphy's video. That horse needs to go to a high-end English facility. He's really that caliber. He's really, really phenomenal. All right, you guys, I love you, and I hope that all of you have just a wonderful Saturday. And I'll talk to Tylen about maybe getting a schedule together for videos. And you know, Tylen is a little bit interested in I have customers that just make my heart full. I just have people that are sending me updates because they felt like watching this video they maybe hadn't sent me an update recently. Oh my god. I have a customer from down in Florida, and she bought Frenchman Savage from me, and she just sent an update, and he just looks amazing. He looks amazing. I love that. I love it. I love that. So 146 left and is going to an amazing home. Oh, it says Long Live Cow Traders just followed me on Instagram. Just so y'all know that Jacob didn't even follow me on Instagram till just now. Who knew? Dork. Anyway, Jacob decided to follow me on Instagram. There you go. What a dork. Don't forget, you guys, we have Instagram. We have YouTube. So you can find me on Instagram. It's Tara Michelle Sanders. My goal is to try to get to 10,000 people on Instagram, 10,000 people on TikTok, and 10,000 people on YouTube. And I think I have 4,000. I'm at 4,000 on Instagram. So I really need for you guys with Instagram to please find me on there. It's Tara Michelle Sanders. My TikTok, though, I only need like 100 more people or something to be to 10,000. My TikTok, like, kind of blew up. So my TikTok is the Horse Trader's Diary. So please follow me on TikTok. I'm almost to 10,000 there. And I think our YouTube has a couple of thousand as well. So the YouTube is also the Horse Trader's Diary. Please make sure you guys follow us. We're just trying to expand our social media experience. Tylen and I will definitely be getting to more podcasts, but him and I are both going to try to have a little bit more personal content in the Wild Tribe After Hours, and really share more of our journey. So I love you guys. He'll be here shortly. I don't know. He's, I think, coming from the farm, so it's not super close. I was already in town. I had to do all of this, and my car is so clean. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm definitely, I'm just at a good place for change. I'm at a good place for change. I'm also just a little bit surprised that I am craving that kind of connection, but I am, and it's cool. But I did think it would be so cool to take the back 14 acres and maybe make it into, like, I don't know, either 14 1-acre little spaces, and maybe have like 7 of them hookups where people could bring their camper or bring their trailer, and have the other 7 of them be cabins, and just make it to where when y'all came, We could go to Tarrant Ranch, you know, and trail ride. Like, bring your horses, come and stay, you know, come love on the horses, come give the horses some attention, come vlog, come be at the facility and see the horses that so desperately need us, and to just be around them and just breathe life back into them and just come hang out. And yeah, I just thought it would just be so amazing. And I'm telling you, if you had told me 5 months ago that I would think that would be a dream, I would have laughed at you and told you I hate fucking people and the last thing I want is strangers at my facility. Fuck them. But you know what? I think I'm healing. I think I'm healing from my own trauma, and now I crave connection. You know, like when you start to heal from something, it's not that you forget it. You just realize that it's going to be okay. I mean, even if somebody did come and was a shit human, it's going to be okay. There's going to be 100 great people for every shit one. So I love you guys, and I hope that you use this Saturday to clear your energy, hold some space, and just really embrace your inner you and be okay with it. Like, it has been so great since I just accepted who I am as a completely weird individual, and I love it. And I love y'all. Bye, you guys.